What is the goal of Islam? Prominent Muslim religious leaders explain that it is to make Islam the dominant religion and political system globally, including by jihad, and to implement the Islamic law, the Sharia, and its penal code that includes crucifixion, executions by sword, stoning, and burning alive, as well as amputations. This brings us to the word Islamophobia. It is the term used to describe the irrational fear of Islam, the implementation of the Sharia, the Islamic law, and all that would entail. Governments in the West are spending enormous amounts of money as well as resources, but yet still struggle to understand what drives people to irrationally fear Islam, that is portrayed by senior Canadian Muslim scholars as a religion of peace and submission to the will of Allah. Mubin Sheikh, a Canadian Sufi Muslim and expert in counter-terrorism, seems to have the answer. Commenting on the stabbing attacks in London, UK, on the 28th of November of 2019, Mubin Sheikh tweeted, and I quote, "The single biggest cause of Islamophobia is the terrorist in Muslim garb. Sadly, pockets within some communities remain woefully in denial." Close quotes. Imam Saeed Sohardi is another prominent Canadian Sufi Muslim scholar, professor, who often appears on CBC, is also an expert on counter-terrorism, has a somewhat similar answer to the question of Islamophobia, and I quote, "Wahhabism terrorists," meaning Saudi-inspired, "will create terrorism and Islam and Muslims will be blamed for it. I do not see any difference between an Islamophobe and a Wahhabi. Both intentionally mislead people. Wahhabism is destroying Muslims and tarnishing the image of Islam." Close quotes. Here we have two prominent Canadian scholars from the Sufi Islamic community who state that terrorists that practice Islam are the major cause of Islamophobia and are causing injury to the image of Islam. If terrorists who practice Islam are indeed those who are primarily responsible for the rise in and the spread of Islamophobia, as Mubin Sheikh and Saeed Sohardi proclaim, what can the Canadian government do to combat Islamophobia? And is the fear of Islam irrational because of the deeds of those Muslims who wear Muslim garb? Share your thoughts in the comments section.